Sport is one of humanity's greatest inventions. For many people around the world, it's a super important part of life, and for an athlete, it is everything. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how Australia's only out non-binary athlete, Robyn Lambird, has said that everyone, especially those in the LGBTQ+ community and those with disabilities, should have access to sport. So let's dive in. First off, Robyn Lambird's statement. Robyn may be only 25 years old, but they've already made history. At the Tokyo Paralympic Games last year, the Aussie wheelchair racer became the first out non-binary person to win a medal, and now they're gearing up for the race of their life. At the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, they'll contest in the women's T33-34 100-meter race and will be looking to achieve glory once again. This will be a wheelchair sprint for people with cerebral palsy and similar conditions. It's even more special for Robyn because they were born in the UK before moving to Perth with their family at the age of 9. They expressed they're a little nervous and excited because a majority of their family still lives in England, and this is the first time that they'll get to see them race internationally. So yeah, it's kind of a homecoming for Robyn. Did you know that a total of 435 athletes are part of Australia's Commonwealth Games team, and Lambird's the only non-binary person on the team? They said that they're blessed with a super supportive family and a group of friends, but acknowledged that for some people, it's extremely difficult to live authentically and to be true to themselves. They added there may be other athletes on the team who are non-binary, but they don't have the privilege to be themselves. And it's for those people and others like them that Lambird is sharing their story. They express that you can be what you can't see, and representation is very, very important. Adding to this, they said that young people need to know that, even if you got a disability or if you belong to the LGBTQ community, you're welcome in sport, and you can take up space in that community. They feel like it's their responsibility to let the youth know that they can be whatever they want to be, and they're completely spot on. Everyone deserves the right to follow their dreams. Next, despite Lambird's support system, some of the conversations can be really difficult for them. It's really kind of devastating and frustrating how toxic conversations in the political realm about queer people can get, and these aren't harmless at all. Lambird said that even though they have the opportunity to live their best life, some of the conversations and some of the rhetoric around the LGBTQ community can be really hard to deal with sometimes. They then referred to the matter of participation of transgender women in women's sports, which became a very heated point of debate in Australia's politics before the federal election earlier this year. It's even been discussed a lot in the United Kingdom as well as America, and a lot of the statements given by politicians have lacked the nuance that's required. They expressed that in some of the conversations, there hasn't been empathy for people from marginalized communities. They hope that one day we can get to a point where we can all sit down, take politics out of it, and talk about how we can celebrate sport with as many people as possible. And now, the importance of sport for the LGBTQ community and people with disabilities. Just earlier this week, 7 players of the NRL club Manly Sea Eagles pulled out of a match that required them to wear a jersey in solidarity with the queer community. It's really quite shocking that stuff like this is still happening in the year 2022. We really don't understand why it's so difficult to lend support to people who have already been going through so much. Research has repeatedly shown that while a lot of queer Australians live fulfilling lives, a very disproportionate number deal with poor mental health. LGBTIQ+ Health Australia published a survey last year that said that 25.6% of queer people aged 16 to 17 had attempted suicide at least once in their lifetime, which is almost 5 times the rate of the general population. And the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare recently revealed that in general, people with disabilities report much poorer general health and higher levels of psychological distress than people without them. Lambird again expressed that everyone should have access to the sport because there's so many physical and mental benefits, and that they couldn't imagine what their life would be like if they hadn't had the journey they've had in sport. They had the following message for anyone out there who's like them. You deserve to take up the space that you have in sport, and you deserve to be true to yourself. And there will be people that will support you for all the people that don't. And what did they say about the preparations for the upcoming race? Lambird's been training as hard as they can for the games. Ever since they won the medal in Tokyo, they've been training 5 to 6 times a week. They said that they've had good days and bad days, and sometimes they just don't feel like training. Maybe the weather's bad, or maybe you're just sore and it can be a real challenge to go to the track. But 2 things keep them motivated. First, they know that their competitors are also training, and they want to do everything in their power to come out on top. Secondly, they try to remember that incredibly awesome feeling of winning a medal in Tokyo and wanting to get to that point again. As for us, we wish Lambird all the best, and we hope to see more queer people in sports in the future. It looks like things are finally changing, folks. Here's hoping for a more inclusive and accepting world. Fingers crossed. And that's all about how Lambird believes that sports should be open to all. Now it's time to move on to some more related news. Firstly, Tolly Kearney disappointed with accessibility. British Paralympian Tola Kearney, who volunteered at the Commonwealth Games, has criticized the organizers and is disappointed by the accessibility of venues and parking for differently abled people. She said that she was really excited to support our athletes and give something back to the sport she loves, but she soon realized that things were going to be very difficult. Apparently, the journey from the nearest Blue Badge car park to the aquatic center took her no less than 25 minutes, which is obviously a super long way for an ambulant disabled person to walk or push themselves on a wheelchair. She knew she had to make alternative arrangements to get to the venue. She said that in the future, more consultations representation is needed with disabled people when planning major events. But still, despite the issues, she expressed that it's been an incredible experience for her to be able to volunteer. The organizers had promised that this would be the most accessible Commonwealth Games ever, but it just hasn't turned out that way. Hopefully next time they'll learn from their mistakes and make sure the right people are involved in the decision-making. Next, Emma McKeon becomes the most successful athlete in Commonwealth Games history. Australia's Emma McKeon recently won the 50-meter freestyle gold medal in Birmingham, and this makes the 28-year-old the most successful athlete in Commonwealth Games history. This was her 11th gold medal, beating out the previous record for most Commonwealth golds, 10, achieved by Aussie swimmers Susie O'Neill, Ian Thorpe, and Liesl Jones. Following her victory, Emma said that it is really nice to be mentioned along those names, and she hopes that she'll be a part of that history for years to come. Those swimmers inspired her when she was young, and she remembers watching them on TV and wanting to do what they were doing. And guess what? She has a chance to add more gold to her haul with expected swims at 4 more events. Finally, Nandame Shalia shines again. Paralympian Nandame Shalia just won 3 gold medals for Indonesia at the Asian Para Games 2022. The first gold was in the 100-meter run, which took place at the Manahan Stadium in Solo on the 2nd of August, and she recorded an incredible time of 12.8 seconds. The very next day, she triumphed in the 200-meter run with a record time of 27.35 seconds, and just a few hours later, she appeared in the 400 meters and won her 3rd gold medal. Jeez, what a performance! She's no stranger to this, as she's previously won gold in the same 3 classes at the Asian Para Games 2015 and 2017. It really looks like there's no stopping her. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Robyn Lambird's statement? Do you ever see yourself competing in a sport professionally? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!